Welcome to African Gospel TV 2. We shall looking at the steps to becoming a successful Christians. Who are the Christians? Christians are those individuals who are dedicated to live their various lives just as Christ did while on earth and replicate his perfect nature. What is the meaning of being successful? To be successful in life means to have achieved whatever goals one aspired to achieve in life, which had been laid down for years or months or certain period of time and worked towards. Now let me ask this question: what does it take to be a successful Christian? The major goal for any Christian living on this planet Earth is to make heaven, which is the ultimate goal. Making heaven requires a lot of commitment and works towards one's Christian life, coupled with daily request of God's grace to help in one's daily life endeavors. These are the steps to live life as a successful Christian. 1. Knowing that no one is a saint. Romans chapter 3 verses 10 to 18. No one should imagine that any are exempt from this divine condemnation. Neither should any Christian think himself or herself better than others because they have received grace. Though we who are believers are redeemed, it is not because we deserved God's mercy. Ephesians chapter 2 verses 1 to 3. We are constrained to confess that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans chapter 3 verse 23, Titus chapter 3 verse 3, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 9 to 11. This is the main reason every Christian who think of himself as holy or righteous should daily ask for forgiveness and daily ask for grace to keep going on without error. 2. Always have the desire to help others, knowing that Jesus laid down his life for us. As a Christians, we ought to replicate his deed for fellow humans. Christians should not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth. If we have things in our possession and see fellow brothers in need, not minding whether they are saved by faith or not, we should kindly stretch out our hands of assistance to them. This perhaps might also make them read the Bible through you. This is the major commandment given to us, just to love one another. 1 John chapter 2 verses 15 to 17, 28, 29, 3 to 4-10, 14 to 18, 23, 24. 3. Always stay humble no matter what. God expects great humility before him, which is essentially what James anticipates of Christians. James chapter 4 verse 10-4. Let your life preach the gospel daily. One of our objective as a Christian is to reach out to the unbelievers and preach the gospel to them. So, this would make you a successful Christian if you are able to preach his gospel to at least a soul per day, either via your lifestyle or via your love showings or via direct meetings. 5. Pursue success daily. One of the major ways to affect people is via our life as a Christian. We must never be a failure in our daily endeavors so people won't run from serving our God with us. There are few things to watch out for in our pursuit of successful life as a Christians. A. Daily set a goal to be achieved and cross the ones you have achieved and have the ones yet to be achieved as top list of your new bucket list. B. If it's a long-range goal, always let its achievement reflect in your daily activities, so you would move closer to achieving it daily. C. Have a focused mind on achieving your goal. Genesis chapter 11 verse 6, and pray against every doubtful spirit that would be whispering negatives into your mind. Include in your prayers a strong mind to achieve your goals. D. Education and preparation. In order to be successful, you must make needed preparations and acquire the necessary education that is required to reach your goal. For example, one of my goals is to become an elementary school teacher. Not only does this involve being knowledgeable about the material I will be teaching, but it also requires that I understand how to work with and motivate children. Another aspect of becoming educated is to find the best sources to gather information. As we strive to become better Christians, our best source in acquiring knowledge is the Bible. 2 Timothy 2:15 implies that we are to study to be approved by God. We also find several proverbs that urge us to gain wisdom and understanding. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 5, 9-9, 16:21-23. Wisdom can be gained by requesting counsel from those who are qualified to give advice. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 22e. Maintain the drive or the motives behind the goal you set. Drive is what propels you forward so that you can achieve your goals. It is essential to have zeal and determination if you are to be successful. While pursuing your goals, it is easy to become lethargic and lose energy when you are tired or things seem to be going wrong. But we are admonished to remain diligent and work with all of our might. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10f. Endurance. To be successful at reaching your goals, you should never give up. It is easy to succumb to the temptation to simply give up. But in order to experience success, you must learn to endure trials and difficulties in order to persevere. Our Christian life is compared to running a race. 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 24, Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1. To successfully enter into God's kingdom, we must endure until the end. Matthew chapter 24 verse 13. Despite the trials and setbacks in our struggle against Satan and our human nature, we should always remember that God will always be there to see us through. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5g. You must be resourceful. This means being creative in your own little ways. No matter how difficult the obstacle you find on your way to success, doing your best to find a solution to it is the surest way that guarantees success. In our Christian lives, we can use resourcefulness to confront the temptations of this life. Christ admonishes us to be as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Matthew chapter 10 verse 16h. You must rely on God, acknowledge God and Jesus Christ in our daily lives and to include them in all our endeavors. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 6. This means praying for guidance and help in everything and trusting that God will answer in the ways that are best. We are to put God first in our lives and to love Him with all our heart, soul and might. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 5. You need to have God in the picture if you are to be truly successful. Remember that the most important goal is to be in God's kingdom, God's family, and that certainly requires God's constant guidance and help.